All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, baby. 1 point away from top 4. Oh, my days. This Tuchel train is well and truly going off. Look, boys, first of all, thank you for joining for the match review. I mean, that wasn't the most greatest performance, but what I got out of that was when you come up against a very well-organized, defensively organized team that was, pressing well, we still got out of that match with a victory. I think we need to look at it in that perspective that we are not going to come every match and blow teams apart. We are going to have to win games like this. And Thomas Tuchel once again has shown that he's got the capacity, the capability to set up the team in this manner. So before we get into the whole match review, I'm so excited. First of all, Nishal, how you doing, man?
I'm very well, thanks. Just as excited as you to talk about the win.
Brilliant, my man. Jonathan, I know you're pressed for time, but once again, thank you so much for making the time to come to this review. How you doing?
We're back again, and it's another victory. As you said, Tuchel train is really going off. And look, every game is going to be different. We can't win every game, like you said, in the manner that we want to. We dug in, and we got the 3 points, and that's the most important thing.
100%. Shout out to everyone that's joining and whoever's going to join in throughout the stream as well. I Test, Khan, James Lawrence, thank you so much for joining so far. Michael, thank you as well. You've been very active in my channel, so thank you for that. So, guys, let's get straight into this. First of all, some opening statements, as we always do. I'll start first, and I'll go to Nishal and Jonathan straight after. Boys, I just needed the win. That's what was most important. Everything that you can imagine in this particular weekend kind of went for us in terms of rivals dropping points. Man United dropped points. Obviously, Everton and Man United, they drew. So Everton, West Ham dropped points. Besides City, who I want just for them to just run away with a go-ahead. I mean, no one's catching you guys, so go and do your job. Just beat everyone else along the way, except for us when we play you again. Liverpool losing to Manchester City. We are 1 point away from top 4. We've just skipped past West Ham. And look, this particular performance, not the most crystal clean sort of performance, but Mason Mount for me was phenomenal. The way he played, I've seen Jonathan, you sort of tweeting halfway through the match, I think in halftime, there wasn't much creativity. And I 100% agree. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi starting in the right wing back probably would have been better as opposed to Rhys James. Probably would have added that a little bit more creativity from the right side. Giroud probably didn't do enough as a striker, but Mason Mount and Timo Verna, they worked hard. Timo Verna worked hard as well. He wasn't clinical once again, but got the penalty. Whether it was a penalty, we'll talk about it. Got that assist for Mason Mount's goal. Very Lampard-esque kind of goal from Mason Mount. Driving into the box late and brilliant finish. But overall defending, boys, I was so happy. Besides that Rudiger mistake, I was happy with the defending. Boys, I'm just glad we got that 3 points against a very tough opposition. Nishal, what was your, what's your initial thoughts?
I'm extremely happy with the win and the performance. We came into it off the back of a brilliant derby win and with back-to-back victories against Burnley and Tottenham. We were in form. We couldn't be in better form, but of course, Sheffield United, yes, they're still bottom, but we've seen recently they're on the resurgence. They had 5 wins in January and February. They're coming back up, so it was never going to be an easy game. I was very happy with the game. Like you said, it wasn't vintage Chelsea, it wasn't our finest performance, but I was very, very happy with what I saw. Mason Mount, I will be singing my praises for him all episode. He was outstanding. Timo Werner as well did well, although he didn't score. Rudiger, we're going to have to look about afterwards. But defensive performance was good on the whole, and we did really well to battle out another well-deserved 3 points today.
100%. Really good comment here. Rudiger almost cost us there. Thought he recovered really well. I 100% thought he recovered really well. Jonathan, your initial thoughts of the match?
Yeah, I thought Verna was really, really good in terms of movement, link-up play. Really well for the 2 assists or the 1 assist and to win the penalty. Rudiger, yes, mistake, but really, he did really well. I mean, he defended well. I thought Christensen did quite well at times in terms of physically. Yes, in terms of Rudiger's mistake, I feel like he's got that in him, and I've been waiting for the last few games. It happened, but he recovered well, as the person said in the comments. yeah, Mason Mount was fantastic. The goal was superb. To hit that the way he did with his left foot, absolutely spot on, beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, I thought we played well. We did miss a bit of creativity. Maybe we needed someone in that little hole with Mason Mount. I thought that's what we missed. Giroud, yeah, a bit too static, which is why, you know, we were talking about Abraham and Werner maybe being the partnership up there. So yeah, it's a sign for me that he's changed the wing backs in mid-game. Chilwell coming off, Alonso coming on.
Good
I
subs
thought that was
again.
a bit of a sign.
Good subs as well, huh?
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi just playing sort of, I don't know, he was sort of roaming, but he still switched on and cutting stuff out when Alonso was going forward. So, yeah, I just thought everyone did their job today. It was never going to be pretty. Look, Sheffield United are on the up. They need a win at home as well. We lost their 3-0 last season. So the improvement compared to them, massive. We're just getting better and better under this Tuchel era. The different victories we're winning. So, yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for the 3 points. I mean, there are some negatives, which I'll touch on. It's not all positive in my opinion, but 3 points is the be-all and end-all in a football match. And we've walked away with them. So, onwards and upwards.
100%. Really good comment here from Claudia. Claudia, shout out to you for joining in. Yusuf as well. Thank you for joining. Uncle Louis, thanks for joining in as well. Claudia, not sure if he's been mentioned, but credit where it's due for AC. I feel he really suits the back three system. Come in and done a solid job today. 100% agree. I don't think this man, I actually tweeted a couple of days ago that in the last match when Silva was taken out, he actually did a very good job coming in replacement of Silva. And today, 100% he did a very good job. Right at the end, there was some really, really good header clearances that he made, which basically kept us, in the winning position. Guys, let's get straight into the lineup. Let's bring this up. Boys, I'll start again with the lineup. Honestly, there was a lot of hoo-ha in the fan base, in the social media when they saw the lineup. Obviously, looking at, not enough probably creativity. There was question marks over Giroud. But I looked at that team, Mendy in the back, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, probably what I expected. Rhys James is was a bit of a surprise for me. I thought it was going to be Callum Hudson-Odoi against a team like Sheffield United, who are defensively solid. So I thought we'd go with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Chilwell was a surprise, but, nonetheless, at the end of the day, he is our premium left back. When it comes to left wing back, suspect. I guess that's probably why he was taken off. Overall, I thought he had an okay-ish match. He was involved in that goal, which we'll talk about. But overall, when I looked at that team, I wasn't too disheartened. I completely backed Thomas Tuchel into what he was doing. But heaps of the fan base, talking about where's Ziyech. A lot of people questioning where's Pulisic. Havertz, I think, has been injured. A lot of people probably wanted Werner up front and with Ziyech just behind with Mason Mount. But Nishal, looking at this team, when you saw the lineup, including the bench as well, did you have any sort of question marks on this going into the match?
I did have a few question marks, not necessarily out of negativity, but more out of questioning Tuchel's decision. So, for example, Ben Chilwell, I was quite surprised to see him come back in. I think Chilwell is our best left back, but Alonso's our best left wing back. So seeing that change was very interesting. Again, Olivier Giroud leading the line. We had that debate, and we also spoke in the last match review about that striker dilemma. We don't know who our best striker is. I can understand why Olivier Giroud started up top. Didn't have the best game. I think he'd admit that as well. Didn't really get a chance, to be honest. But, again, we got the win. So there were a few changes, Of course, Hudson-Odoi as well. Surprised to see him drop out. But at the end of the day, we have relentless games where weekend, midweek. We do need to rotate. We do need to change. And at the end of the day, however much we might think he knows, Tuchel doesn't know his strongest 11 yet. He knows what he wants to play right now in terms of shape, formation, and personnel. But after 4 matches, you're not going to know every single player you want to play for the rest of the season. So I think it's still a bit of experimentation as well as rotating and changing, which is fair enough. And look, it paid off. We got the win. So I've got no complaints in that regard.
100% right. I mean, I think we need to understand players like Callum Hudson-Odoi he's played every match since Tuchel's sort of taken over. So it's quite understandable that he's probably got a bit of rest. And as you said, Nishal, lots of matches coming up thick and fast. Jonathan, from your perspective, what was your reaction when you saw the lineup?
Yeah, I was expecting 2 or 3 changes. I said that in the preview. I think we had to freshen things up a little bit, given the amount of games. Obviously, we've got a really good chance against Barnsley to change a few as well. So yeah, I felt like Christensen would come in, the ball playing centre back. We talked about that. That was understandable. I was a little surprised that Chilwell played, just because Lonzo has looked good as the left wing back, and that game he played on the Tuchel, Chilwell coming off early, like he did today. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised because it doesn't seem to flow on that left-hand side with him there. I think he certainly needs some more games there. And I think the Barnsley game is a great example if we played through at the back. Yeah, the Jovicic, I thought, first half, I thought we were under a lot of pressure. Second half was better. But yeah, in terms of the team, Giroud coming in wouldn't have been my shout. But like you said, we got the 3 points. And like Nishal said, we're expecting some changes. So 2 or 3 there, it was still more than enough to win this game. So yeah, you've got to just trust in the manager because, again, as Nishal said, he doesn't know his best side. He's still, tweaking here and there. And also, by the way, watch out for Nishal's pronunciations. I swear, always spot on. Every time there's a player. Like the way he says Verna, it's just brilliant.
I honestly, I've been saying it lately, man. I get hard about these sort of things, man. That's beautiful. Honestly, pronunciation gets me going, man.
The context, I speak German. I'm a native German speaker, so I need to get Thomas Tuchel right, Timo Werner right, Kai Havertz right. So just doing my duty to my language.
Making us look bad, man. I mean, I keep saying Thomas Tuchel.
It's a hard name to pronounce, Tuchel.
Tuchel. I hope everyone who's live
in your throat.
From the throat. Everyone that's live, try that on yourself. See if you can pronounce Tuchel. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's on. Soccer Turtle, Thompson Jones, thank you for coming in. Tyrone, thank you for coming in. Let's talk a little bit about. Before we move into the player performances and whatnot, we'll look into the goal as well. I've got everything set up. We're going to give you guys a mad treat today. Everything is set up for this. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about the subs first. I'll go to Jonathan this time. Jonathan, I've been really impressed by Thomas Tuchel's substitutions. I think it's been brilliant, man. I mean, the way he's been controlling the matches previously, this match as well, he takes off, I believe he took off Olivier Giroud for Callum Hudson-Odoi, which was smart. I think, taking Verna up in the middle and Callum Hudson-Odoi as an inside forward. Then I think he also took off Angola. He brought in N'Golo Kante. Alonso for Chilwell. That was a no-brainer for me. I think Chilwell in the left wing-back position simply doesn't justify that position. So it was smart to have Alonso, who acted as a striker for us at the end because we didn't have any striker right at the end when N'Golo Kante came on instead of Timo Verna, which I felt was a very good decision as well. Once again, defensively shoring us up. And this is what I've been saying. I think Kante is very good in that sort of scenario where we're trying to protect our lead. And, he's done the job right at the end. It was very important, the interceptions he was making. So from your perspective, how was the substitutions for you once again?
Yeah, I said first off, I felt like, Jorginho and Kovacic, or more Jorginho was kind of overrun. There's a few times where he was out-battled. There's a few times he tried to sort of nip in and missed it. So yeah, first off, they were in the ascendancy. I feel Sheffield United at times, we did get hold of the ball, the more the half went on. And obviously with the superb goal before half time, that was a real kick in the teeth for them. So yeah, to come and bring on Kante in the second half, I thought was brilliant. Just adding a third man in midfield, just solidify a little bit, which meant they had to push the ball out wide. And as soon as they pushed the ball out wide, we've got 3 centre-backs to deal with any balls that came in, and the quality wasn't there from them. So it was a really good move. And yeah, I felt Giroud needed to come off, see what Werner did up top a little bit. As you say, the Alonso change was a no-brainer. And yeah, Hudson-Odoi to come on. He just looks so confident on the ball when he's got it. That little flick he did at the end with Mount when we're sort of 93rd minute.
That was dirty.
Exactly. I mean, he's just got confidence. It's clear that he's got so much confidence in Hudson-Odoi. And he's just playing with freedom. So yeah, he didn't get into the game enough or as much as I'd have wanted him to when he came on. But again, it's just an example of, us digging in. We did it in the Tottenham game a little bit, digging in, and those subs certainly helped us. And also to mention, obviously, we're going to talk about Mount a bit, but that 93rd-ish, 94th minute where he's harassing the Sheffield United, right back or Bogle, whoever it was, and wins the ball, that kind of determination is what is going to get us into the top 4, top 3. It's that never say die attitude. You know, he doesn't have to do that at that time. Most players are knackered. And the way he helped us to stay in their half of the pitch, fantastic. So, yeah, subs continue to impress me under 100%. TT.
The TT. Nishal, your thoughts about some of these subs that Thomas Tuchel's doing at the moment? I mean, are you impressed by the way his sort of in-game management is really improved since Frank Lampard days? Yeah,
I'm very impressed with his game management. As I've said previously, that's the main difference I noticed. I wasn't a fan of Lampard's game management, with all due respect to him, but Tuchel knows how to do it, and he's doing it right with his substitutions. Alonso Chilwell, not much to speak about on that front, but a more attacking substitution in that case. Giroud coming off Hudson-Odoi, that was very good. Seeing Werner shift over into the middle, give him that chance up top. But the main one I'm focusing on is N'Golo Conte coming on for
Werner.
For Timo Verna, yeah.
He did come on for Timo, yeah. Thank you. N'Golo Conte coming on was very interesting because, of course, one of the big points for his performance against Spurs was that we didn't look as good with him on the pitch, which was really weird because for the years we've watched him, we always looked stronger, more determined and more solid with Conte in midfield. But that wasn't the case against Tottenham. I think today, much different. He really shored us up. I think having that midfield trio back together, Jorginho, Kovacic, Conte, a big throwback to the Maurizio Sarri days. Yeah. It was good to see them back together. And I think we did need that sort of control against a tough Sheffield United team who were completely coming at us. Bringing Conte on in that situation worked really well. And I think also different approaches, when we brought on against Tottenham, there was a much more directness and kind of attacking flair. And we saw Conte give away needless fouls. I think he got booked within about 5 minutes and he looked shaky. Whereas today, it was much more about breaking those lines and really covering the defence, which he did really well. So I was very happy to see Conte come on and do really well. Maybe that could be his role for the next few weeks where, we're chasing the result or we're trying to see out the win. You bring him on, shore it up, and we get the win. So Conte really impressed me off the bench, I have to say.
100% agreed. We're going to talk about match performances, but we'll quickly take this super chat here. Itest, thank you once again for the super chats, my man. Honestly, you've been a massive supporter for this channel. I do appreciate that. Itest has asked, why hasn't Ziyech been playing no creativity? This is a really good question, and I'll start the answers first, and I'll go to the boys for their thoughts. I personally think Ziyech hasn't started in this particular match. I think Thomas Tuchel is doing a lot of work with Ziyech in the background. I feel like Ziyech probably doesn't have a defined role in this particular system. I think he will play as one of the two, as you can see over here, Werner and Mason Mount. Yeah, one of those players will probably be where Ziyech plays. So, it could possibly be something like this with Timo Werner playing over here and someone like Ziyech probably playing in that role alongside Mason Mount. So, and the other thing we need to consider as well, Ziyech has been, a couple of times he's been injured this season. So maybe Thomas Tuchel's just taking his time at the moment to really just get this back, get this player back to full fitness, do some rigorous training, understand the style, the philosophy that Thomas Tuchel's trying to create. I have no doubt Ziyech will be back. I think Ziyech is the creative outlet that we need. So from that perspective, I'm not worried. It is a bit concerning, I suppose, not seeing him off the bench. But then again, context of the game. I mean, when do you use someone like Ziyech in a game like this when we're trying to defend a lead? So, Jonathan, your thoughts about this particular matter?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's just working him back in. I could also see him playing right wing back, to be honest. And then Rhys James could maybe go as that right centre back. So there's certainly options with Ziyech. But yeah, I could probably see him as one of those two behind a striker. But I think the reason he didn't come on today was just because of the subs we needed to make. I felt like the Alonso change was needed because they were starting to attack a bit more down the right. And I know Alonso's very, very attacking, but the fact that he started to push Bogle back a little bit more did kind of help us. I felt Giroud needed to come off, so Hudson-Odoi needed to come on for fresh legs to give us a bit more up front. And then Kante, we needed him in that midfield. So it wasn't the fact that, Ziyech didn't play. I felt like it just wouldn't have been the correct sub. I felt like the three subs we made were the ones we needed to make. So, I'd love to have seen Abraham come on maybe and try and stretch the play and bring some movement. But I felt like the ones he made were the right calls. So, yeah, I think there's quite a few factors. But he will certainly be, we've got quite a lot of games this season. He will certainly be someone that contributes.
100% agreed. Nisha, your thoughts? Do you have any different sort of thoughts about Ziyech or sort of in the same mold as us?
Yeah, it's a great question. And my main perspective, it's not about tactic. I think I agree with substitutes, but it's just rest. Look, we know he's a very fragile player. We've spoken about it in lengths across the season, but we need to protect Hakim Ziyech. If he gets injured again, completely ruins his momentum. And as we saw, it ruined our momentum and arguably led to Lampard's downfall at a stretch. But, you can see that domino effect. It's purely rest. Look, he's been playing a high intensity game in, game out. He was rested against Tottenham, I beg your pardon, and he was rested today. And I don't think it's cause for concern. Look, as you guys said, we didn't need to bring him on. When the times came to make substitutions, there was no real benefit or no real reason to bring him on that would have changed the game in a way we needed to. I think it's purely just rest. He needs this time on the bench and just to recover and have some time to, I guess, relax. So I don't think it should be a cause for concern at all. He's still part of Tuchel's plans. He's still one of our important players. It's just rest, and he needs that. Simple as.
Nah, well said. Thompson Jones, really good commentary. Barnsley next. Tuchel will experiment again. 100%. I believe Ziyech will start that. And we'll get to see exactly what he brings into the play. Boys, let's now get into the player performances, and I want to start with our star boy Mason Mount. I could not be so much I can't be any more prouder than this, man. Honestly, this guy, during the Frank Lampard sort of time, not only last season, but this season during our bad performances, he was probably the only player that still believed in Frank Lampard, that still gave his 100%, and rightly so gets that, captaincy ban just on Frank Lampard's last game. But a lot of question marks when Tuchel came in. Even I sort of said it to others as well, that I don't know if Mason's going to be a regular starter under Thomas Tuchel. I think Tuchel is starting to realize that this guy is undroppable. This guy is simply undroppable. And I think I really enjoy him playing in this particular role, guys, where he's sort of operating right here, sort of like an inside forward. And he's more box to box. He sort of runs through this channel, somewhere in the middle, sort of runs through this channel. And today, guys, I mean, overall, I've always been happy with his performance. Even in the last game against Spurs, a lot of people have been questioning his performance. But for me, it's the little things that he does. Is that press, that Jonathan that you said, in the 95th minute, there's no need for him to run around like that. He still does it because the team requires it. And today, we'll talk about the goal. But first of all, just quickly to Nishal, your thoughts on Mason Mount's performance, man?
Mason Mount. I love this man. And every single week that Chelsea play, we're always singing our praises about the same man. Mount. Week in, week out. He is a man who stands out, who performs, who delivers, who is consistent. And I end up saying the same things every single game. He has been brilliant. He was outstanding. He led the attack. His work rate was phenomenal. And that's not because he has individual great performances. That's because he's at such a level of consistency that's so important and so crucial to Chelsea that he's become an integral part of our team. There, of course, you have people citing favouritism for Lampard playing Mount in 80 of his 84 games. But it's clear to see why, under any manager, whether it's Southgate, Tuchel, Lampard, Mason Mount is the player you want in the team. And today was another perfect example. He was outstanding. His goal, like you said earlier, really gave me Lampard flashbacks. Beautiful, beautiful finish. Yeah. Did really well to get into the box. Really smart run. Brilliant finish into the bottom corner. Throughout the game, working hard. And what I love about Mason Mount is whether he's an attacking 8, a left winger, an inverted winger, even a striker, like we saw in the final few minutes today, he can do it all wherever he is. Every single week, he makes us talk about him, and he's always the centre of attention because that's what he does and that's how he performs. So, I could go on for so long about Mason Mount. He's been a real joy to watch, especially recently, and I'm so glad to see him also get a chance under Tuchel. And, it's really excitement as well because we saw how much he grew under Lampard, who, for me, I think Lampard saw a lot of himself in Mount. Having watched him time and time again, I saw so many bits of Lampard's game, and I thought, that's why. It's so simple. Under Tuchel, such an attacking-minded coach, a genius, a football philosopher, to think of how Mason Mount is going to develop under Thomas Tuchel, I cannot wait to see the player he becomes, because trust me, he will become one of the finest players in this country under Tuchel, and I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, man, I cannot disagree, man. I feel like, the last few matches that I've seen, and I've said it, that Mason Mount under Thomas Tuchel will go to the next level. Jonathan, I just want to play out the goal here. It was sort of something like this. Ball came from Chilwell around this position, releasing Werner. Werner sort of takes it to the byline. Giroud was a little bit wide, and Mason Mount makes that late run into the box as Werner sort of cuts it back in, and that finish with the left foot. I mean, that was something to really, really cheer about, especially just before halftime when the game was, at a situation where we needed a goal to ensure that we go into the half and come back, with a very solid mind frame. What was your thoughts about the goal in itself, first of all?
For me, we all were complaining. The only complaint we had after the Tottenham game was the fact that he didn't add the finishing touch to it. What does he do today? Puts the ball in the back of the net with a superb finish. So yeah, absolutely superb, and something that we needed at that time. For him to score that goal at the exact right time, just before half time, to kind of put the nail in the coffin. They then had to come out and play. Yes, they got back into the game with a silly goal. But yeah, for me, I can't expand too much more on what Nishal said, because he's absolutely covered it from head to toe. Superb player. Absolutely love him under Tuchel.
Nah, man, 100%. That for me, boys, just quickly, man of the match. For me, it's Mason Mount. Just quickly, Nishal, who's your man of the match?
Absolutely, Mason Mount. He deserves it by a country mile. So well-deserved man of the match for me.
Jonathan, your man of the match?
Just to throw a spanner in the works, I thought Werner was really good today.
Werner was good.
His movement, the two sort of assists he got. I was really impressed with him. But you can't look past Mount, to be honest. I thought he was terrific from first minute to the last minute.
Brilliant, guys! In the live chat, please let us know who your man of the match was. It'll be good to know. What's your thoughts? Just quickly reading a private message from Jonathan. Just give me 1 second. I'll take Mason out of the. Okay, we'll get back to that, Jonathan.
I think you got that now.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Boys, let's talk about now. Lots of talk that's been happening about Jorginho and Kovacic. I want to touch on that before we get into the Timo Verna conversation, a whole heap of defensive conversation as well. Boys, there's a lot of debate about what Jorginho and Kovacic does. Let me just swap that around. It's more sort of like this. For me, and I'll go to Jonathan next up. For me, Jorginho, guys, he's got a very set role. It's not to be the absolute playmaker, always look for those key passes and whatnot. He does a job which is to help out the defense, to build up, keep the ball moving, tempo going. It's what Tim Sherwood said in the last match against Tottenham. Please see his video. He explains it perfectly exactly what Jorginho does. Kovacic is more of a press-resistant guy, and he allows us to drive through the middle, releases the pressure from defense. These guys are not your out-and-out playmakers. They're not going to be always looking for those key passes. They do have the key passes, especially against a team like Sheffield, who is so organized. It's very hard to penetrate through the middle because they've got players just marking everyone, man-marking everyone. It's very difficult. You need movement up front for these two players, Kovacic and Jorginho, to actually do something. So the side-to-side passes is not really for unnecessary purpose. It's to shift the opposition side to side, so there is a chance to go through the middle and find that movement sometimes. And it's very difficult. You've got to be so patient against teams like Sheffield United. Jonathan, man, I mean, is it fair, the flack that these two sometimes get? And I don't understand what the fan base is expecting from these two. I mean, are they just expecting assist after assist and flair play after fair play? I mean, that's not their role. Do you feel like sometimes people misunderstand these two?
Possibly. I mean, in this system, they both play really well, and they have played very well in the last 4 games. But yeah, there were limitations, or they have limitations that I feel it was shown a little bit today. As I said, I felt like we did need an extra man midfield today. And obviously, Kante coming on was good timing for me, because they were just starting to ramp up the pressure a little bit. So yeah, they are a very functional duo. And, I saw a tweet from Matisse. I think he said, you've got to be able to separate the two. They're not husband and wife. So whilst they are always a pair, it seems to be in this Chelsea side. They both do different things. Like you said, Jorginho will drop a little bit deeper. He has been spinning people on the sixpence recently, drawing people. Sometimes it's just when he receives the ball, he sort of feints and it throws a player off. And then that opens the game up, which he did a couple of times today in the second half. So yeah, I mean, it's not, in my opinion, a duo that has to be for every game. But the few games we've played, they've suited the kind of, lower block game styles that our oppositions have had. So, yeah, when we needed to change it, we changed it. And Kovacic, I thought, was really good throughout. Jorginho, as I said, I thought he grew into the game. Yeah, I think the disrespect, like you say, I just think, yes, they do play backwards passes. Yes, they do play, sideways passing. But like you said, sometimes it's just to open the game up, which means dragging players around. If you play it around the back. So sometimes when Jorginho or Christensen or Rudiger played it back to Mendy today, one or two Sheffield United players then press up. The wing-backs are then able to come out wider. We then put it out wide or put a ball over the top. And then instantly you've got 3 or 4 Sheffield United players out of position. And I said on Twitter earlier in the day, they're not fantastic at following their markers. The first goal was a fantastic example of that. And then the second one was just a lack of concentration because we were pressing. Werner's anticipated the ball and obviously won the penalty. So, yeah, to go back to my point, I think they are very functional and they do a job when they need to increase the intensity, which I felt they could have done a little bit more at times today. They do have the passes. Kovacic has the running. So, yeah, I feel like, in this side, they have a massive purpose. And we will see them a lot this season.
100%. RHH, I respect you so much, man. You always come to my stream. I do want you to comment, what is it that you expect from Jorginho? Please comment below because I want to show that. I feel like, let's say you don't use Jorginho. Let's say it's still double sixes. Who do you use? Someone like Kante alongside Kovacic. Kante is just going to bomb up along with Kovacic, which is going to leave a massive hole. And not just that, Kante sitting deep cannot touch the ball that many times. I cannot stress this enough that Kante does not want to get the ball and one-touch pass, whether to build up and whatnot, side to side, even the direct passes. Kante does not like that. So if it's not Kante, Kovacic, who do you do? What do you do? Mason Mount? Mason Mount's playing very well up front. Why do you want to bring him to the pivot? And once again, Mason Mount and Kovacic is not going to be the most astute double sixes because they both want to go up. Mason wants to drive into the box, and that once again will leave a massive hole. So please tell me, RHH, from your point of view, who do you want in that double sixes? Because as Jonathan said, these two players have a function, and we need to really start understanding that function. Nishal, from your perspective, what do you think about the Kovacic and Jorginho pivot? I know you've said a lot of good stuff about them in the last sort of review that we did against Spurs, but just for this particular match, I've seen too many people having a go at Jorginho again. Once again, really just branding him as a sideways passer, which I don't think is fair.
Well, I do understand the criticism about sideways passing. I understand where the frustration comes about. Football is a forward game. It's about attacking. It's about scoring goals. And when the ball's moving side to side, from the eye, yes, it can seem really dull and lethargic. But you said it perfectly. It's about shifting the play, moving the defence over, really shifting the momentum of the game over. And I understand, if we just go quickly to their overall perception, I understand where the criticism comes for Jorginho and Kovacic because they've not been the perfect duo. And I've said before, they're not Xavi and Iniesta, for example. But that's the point. They're not Xavi and Iniesta. They're not McTominay and Pogba. They're not, Foden and De Bruyne, for example. Jorginho and Kovacic have their own role and have their own purpose to Chelsea. The
100%.
reason I think they get a lot of criticism is because individually and together, they're not the most attractive pairing on paper. Everyone will admit that, That's no disrespect to their ability or their quality or their role in the team. It's just not the most eye-catching partnership, but it works. It gets us results. We've seen them do so well under Tuchel so far, getting clean sheets, really solid in midfield. I've been very impressed seeing them together. And I've criticised them before as well for these reasons. And I think it depends on what sort of perception you look at. For Lampard, for example, where we're looking more at 2-8s and much more attacking in that sense, of course you'd see it more negatively when we play Kovacic as an 8 and Jorginho as a 6 because it would feel like we were playing 2 6s. But in this system, where the heart of midfield is specifically 2 6s, and Tuchel has spoken about playing a double six pivot in midfield, it's the perfect mix. And you put it perfectly as well. I think Jorginho does his role really well, and also in a way where Not many players can do it the same way. I would say Conte can, but again, they're different players and they're different minds. So yeah, I understand the criticism. I understand why the fan base and other people aren't the biggest fans of Jorginho and Kovacic, but credit where credit's due, they do their job. And when Tuchel needs them to help control the midfield and get us results, they have done exactly that. And that's where they need the credits.
100% agreed. RHH, once again, look, I'm not having a go at you at all. As I said, I respect your opinion. Jorginho and AC playing boring football. I really don't know what you're expecting from these players. Like, I don't know, do you want them to sort of drive the ball, dribble, always play through the middle? It's very difficult to play through the middle against a team that is sitting so compact. If you don't have our players moving around constantly the way City does, and I believe down the track we will get to that level. Tuchel will take us to that level where our players will have crazy movement, which will allow us to play more through the middle. But right now, if they're static against the Sheffield players, it's very difficult for them to play the pass through the middle because the Sheffield player will press hard against them and nick the ball. So, and then you'll say that, oh, well, what a poor pass, when in essence it probably wasn't a poor pass. So I don't know what we are expecting from Jorginho and Andres Christensen. And Christensen, for me, once again, there's a reason why he plays in that middle when Silva is away, because he's the only one who likes to get the ball as much as Silva. If you play a Rudiger, or if you play an Aspilicueta, or if you play a Zuma, they will not be able to do that job in the middle, because as that middle centre back, you're going to touch the ball a lot. And right now, Andres Christensen is probably the best one at it when Silva is injured. So that's a little bit about that. Boys, my main man, Jonathan's got to leave. We got to continue this particular review with Nishal and myself, and possibly Sadiq might join, Worldwide Chelsea might join down the track. Jonathan, some last words before you go.
Yeah, what I'll say is that let's, compare ourselves to the best team in the league this season, Man City. And I watch quite a lot of their games. I love Pep and I love that team he's got. And I feel like this season they're going to steamroller it if they get sort of 10 points ahead. Watch them today against Liverpool. And at times, first half Liverpool did really well. Second half, they just took over control. But if you watch City, sometimes, look at the one they were against Sheffield United. They pass the ball. They are very boring. They're side to side, backwards, maintaining possession, shifting play. Best team in the league. One of the best. Look at Bayern Munich. I've seen them, quite a few times this season. Sometimes, yes, they score goals, but again, they can be very boring. It's about controlling games. It's about game management. It's about, reserving energy. You can't go full hog for 90 minutes. And I think today, we just managed the game really well. We'd not have won that game a few months ago. And we're criticising players after 9, or what is it now? 10 points out of 12 in the first 4 games. To be a work in progress and get wins and to be in this position right now, like you say, a point from top 4, it's a dream. And as much as, yes, we've got a hell of a lot to work on, if we're here already, I'm really, really looking forward to where we can end up. So, yeah, my thing is the 3 points was obviously really important today. And Khan's saying, don't compare us with City. The reason I'm comparing us with City is that's the benchmark this season. In my opinion, I know they're way above us. We're a season and a half away from that. But what I mean is they are playing that sometimes they play the boring sideways and backwards. So there's no harm in that. And it's about game management. At times today, I even heard the Sky Sports commentator say, Sheffield United have got 3-4 strikers. They want to press forward, but they can't because Chelsea have got the ball. And we were switching play, holding possession, and we weren't letting them have the ball in order to counter and go up against us. Because other than that overhead kick, what did Sheffield United have in the last few minutes? They didn't really test us because we managed the game so well. So, yeah, there was things that, I didn't like today, but I'm so happy with where we are right now. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go and eat my takeaway and I will tune in for the rest of the review and I'll see you all soon. So take care.
Brilliant. Take care, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't want to take this whole, review and talk about Jorginho, but this comment here from Thompson Jones. Thompson Jones, thank you so much, my man. You've been commenting some absolute super stuff here. Boring side-to-side passes are part of football. I'm sorry to say this. Every team plays side-to-side, even Barcelona, Prime, and Man City. 100% agreed. I mean, the context, as I said, is very, very important. Nishal, let's now talk about our main man, Timo Werner. Timo Werner, once again, no goals, but what I really like about Timo Verna, and I've always said this, his work rate, his movement is very good. There were some odd times where he got the ball and his first touch once again lets him down, but yet another penalty he got. From your perspective, Timo Werner's performance, but also, did you think that was a penalty?
It was absolutely a penalty. I saw it. In fact, what bothered me more was that from the point of impact to Jorginho taking a penalty was about 2-3 minutes when it was clearly a penalty. Absolutely clearly. My only dispute was I know the main consensus would have been penalty and red card, but I knew from start it wasn't a red card. And I want to explain this just quickly because I'm sure there's a bit of...
Do they do that anymore? Do they do that anymore? Like a penalty and a red card for a keeper? I don't know if they double hit them anymore.
You can do it, but it depends on the circumstance, basically. And in this situation, just to clear this up for any of you who are confused about why it wasn't a red card, yes, Aaron Ramsdale, the goalkeeper, committed the foul, clear penalty, yes. But the reason he got booked was because there was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, but he wasn't the last man. The centre-back, Chris Basham, was running around and behind, and as the referee's perception and also mine, when Timo Verna, if he'd got past Aaron Ramsdale, Chris Basham would have been there to cover. So he wouldn't have been the last man. And you could see that from the stoppages as well. So clear yellow card and penalty. I don't see how there could be any disputing that it was a penalty, and also brilliant to see Jorginho score. Little fact for you as well. Since I met him, 2 goals in 2 games, 2 winners. Just saying.
Absolutely. And the skip, hop, and everything was back again. I thought he was going to put it through the laces, but he got the skip, hop back. I think he's choosing which keeper. I think if it's a top-notch keeper, then he wants to put it through the laces. If it's sort of someone like Ramsdale, no disrespect, he's going for the skip, hop, waiting for the keeper to sort of take the dive, and then he makes the chance. Once again, that penalty has worked for him in this instance, so kudos to him. But going back to Timo Werner, for me, man, that goal will come. I just want the fan base and everyone to stay calm with him. I think him playing regularly is helping him out. 2 assists today, mind you. One for Mason Mount, one with the penalty getting that. I think what he was trying to do with that penalty, he was trying to go around the keeper. He did hit that very hard. Had it not been given, obviously, as you said, Nishal, the defender was there to scoop that up. But I felt like had his touch not been that hard, he might have got around the keeper quick enough to score that. But obviously, the keeper, tackled him down. But overall, very close second man of the match for me, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the group, in the live chat. 57 people on right now. Please smash that like button, get it to at least 50 likes, and let us know what your thoughts were about Timo Verna. We'll put it in the screen here. Very good comment here, and we've talked about this in the beginning of the show. Verna Iswara Longanandaden, hopefully I pronounced that right, man. Man City 50 points, Man United 45 points, Leicester 43, Liverpool 40, Chelsea 39, and Leicester's got Liverpool up next, so some points to be dropped there. Man, we are coming. We are coming for that top 4 with absolute steam. Now, Nishal, I want to talk to you about we've talked about some of the key performances, obviously. I want to now talk about the defense, because I felt like that defense needs some sort of recognition, because we've been playing very well defensively. Our defensive organization has been fantastic. That goal that we let in with Rudiger, obviously Rudiger could have smashed that ball anywhere possible. He could have gone sideways. He could have even hit it for a corner. I don't know what he was thinking for laying that ball to Mendy, and I could see that coming, man. I was just seeing, oh my God, here comes Mendy, and he's going to back pass, and it's going to be a goal. But besides that, Rudiger has been very, very good throughout that particular match. And defensively, Christensen was solid, Azpilicueta was solid. And our whole structure with the wing backs as well. Whenever we're in transition, we're far more compact, and we're far better in order to negate the opposition. What do you think about our defense today?
I'm going to start with a negative. I want to get that out of the way, and then I'll wax lyrical and talk about how good our defense was. Awful mistake, horrendous. Rudiger, no idea what he was doing, just absolutely horrific. I think the main concern for me was the miscommunication, obviously, between Rudiger and Mendy. There wasn't a call, there wasn't, a decision on whether Rudiger was clearing, Mendy was picking up, and it resulted in one of the worst own goals I've seen in recent time. Reminds me of a certain one, Alex, all those years ago at Newcastle away. I don't know if anyone remembers it in the 2010-11 season. He did the exact same thing. Tried to back pass to Petr Cech, rolled straight past him. Andy Carroll tapped in for an easy goal. But what annoys me about that is because it's not the first time we've seen that. Think back to a few times this season. Patrick Bamford against us for Leeds in December, we had the same thing. Mendy came rushing out. There was no communication. Bamford picked up, rounded the goalkeeper. We've seen that as well in the Leicester game. Mendy and Chilwell, there was no communication there. Bad back pass. Mendy was left to clear it out, and we were on the back foot. So this isn't anything new, and it does worry me that we're seeing a lack of communication at times, whether you can attribute it to a language barrier or just a lack of team, I guess, cooperation. But that's something we need to work on, communication and just general cooperation. On to the good side now. We were very good defensively. Mistake side, goal aside, clean sheet gone aside, the first goal of the Tuchel era. Of course, it was an own goal from Rudiger. What do you expect from this club? But we were very good in defence. I think Christensen especially deserves credit. I don't think he wasn't outstanding or anything, but to come in for Thiago Silva, especially in the last game, he came in against Tottenham for Silva and kept that clean sheet. Of course, that would have been the same today were it not for that mistake. But Christensen was very good in defence, kept them together, was great. Rudiger as well, credit where credit's due. From about half an hour or so after that mistake, he made a good few blocks, challenges, clearances. And did he redeem himself? To be honest, no. That's being cynical. But he did do well. And he did show why he's got a place in this defence. Azpilicueta is always great, or wing-backs cooperating. And I've been really impressed with his defensive structure. It's not the first time I've spoken about it. I've seen a good back three shape. Tuchel clearly favours it, especially going forward. And, lots of credit where credit's due. Unfortunate to concede the first goal under the new manager, but I think the defensive performance had a lot to praise and to be positive about.
No, 100%, man. Defense was very, very good. Mendy as well. I thought, obviously, besides that stuff up with Rudiger, I don't think it was his fault, to be honest. Maybe he could have screamed out that, just kick it out. Like maybe that communication, maybe you could have said, Rudiger, just hit it out, mate. Like, don't even pass it backwards or anything like that. But besides that, there were some key moments right at the end of the match where Mendy came out and he grabbed the ball. He made some really, really good collections right at the end, and that was very important for us. I want to now talk to you about the two wing-backs before we talk about the whole Thomas Tuchel and our upcoming fixtures and whatnot. I feel like Rhys James in the right wing-back position and also Chilwell. I want to talk about Rhys James. I think Rhys James, is, as we said, he's a fantastic player. I think right back probably suits him a lot more as right wing back. But not just that, I don't think he's always bold. He's not as bold as Callum Hudson-Odoi when he plays as a right wing back. He really goes out there, takes the defenders on and tries to break through the line and whip in those crosses. I haven't seen enough of Rhys James crossing lately, and I'm not saying that, go out there and just keep crossing, not like that. But now it feels like we're not crossing at all. Like that sort of still needs to be part of the game. I'm not saying just completely kill out the crossing. That still needs to be part of the game. And I just feel like sometimes Rhys James doesn't gamble. He doesn't just take the player on and just trust in his ability and his, sort of pace and the physique that he has. What's your thoughts about Rhys James's game so far?
I think he's been all right. I completely understand your criticism and your thoughts on him playing as a wing back. But look, he is a very attacking-minded fullback. There's a reason he plays over Azpilicueta, because Azpi is more a defensive player, whereas James is much more attacking-minded. And I get why we see differences in his game. You need to be more conservative at times as a wing back, coming back and helping defend. And maybe it was just him being more cautious about the opponent. But, we didn't see many crosses or much activity from him on the right-hand side. But that's not a criticism. I think both Callum Hudson-Odoi and Rhys James are very good at right wing back. And we've got two really strong options there. But we shouldn't rule Rhys James out of it straight away. Wasn't a fantastic game, but he didn't really do anything wrong for me. And I think, I get why there's frustration. We're not seeing as much crossing, especially we know how good of a crosser he is. But, today, maybe this wasn't his day.
Giroud starting, you'd think there would be some.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's not just on James, that's also on Chilwell on the left-hand side. We saw those runs, but there's something in me that doesn't feel right with seeing Chilwell as a wing-back. Maybe that's because I see Alonso as the natural wing-back, the man who has to be starting. But I think another part of that is, in the same way that, you'd prefer to see Azpilicueta as a right centre-back over a right wing-back, I prefer to see Chilwell as a left-back rather than a left wing-back. And I think that's his qualities of course, like any modern fullback, he can attack, he can drive forward, he makes really good runs. But when we've seen him play as a left wing back, both under Tuchel and under Lampard, I've not been too convinced. And hopefully he proves me wrong and hopefully shows me he can play there. But to be honest, if we are playing a back three, I'm not too keen on Chilwell starting on that side.
Yeah, no, I have to agree, man. Comments here from RHH. Please no more crosses. Thank you. Look, 100%. Look, I don't want spamming of crosses like we were doing under Frank Lampard just a couple of weeks ago. But I'm thinking, I'm not seeing any crosses lately. That's the issue. I think we need to mix it up. It can't just all be through centrally. We need to go wide at times, and like what Callum Hudson-Odoi has been doing as a wing back, he does go as wide as possible and cut him in. And creating opportunities in that manner still needs to be part of our game. But Nishal, 100% agreed, man. Chilwell, for me, I don't think this left wing back position suits him. He's not as technique, especially when it comes to scoring goals and being in that box, just like Alonso. And also defensively, just quickly, Chilwell almost gave away that penalty. If it wasn't for that offside, it was very clumsy what he was doing in defense.
That was ridiculous from Chilwell. I forgot about that actually because of so much happened in the game afterwards. But that's not acceptable. And we've seen those clumsy challenges a few times where it's just knocking players over or clumsy defending. That really surprised me from Chilwell. But unfortunately, we've seen that before as well. I think Leicester, we actually saw him give away a penalty as well. But again, it was disallowed from VAR, if I remember correctly. So, You're right. As well. It's not a side of a game that you expect to see from Chilwell with rashness, with poor tackling and, bad decision making. But we have seen that occasion. And, you do have to criticise in that case. But he's still playing well. He's still a good defender. But we do have to look at these sides of the game. Because if we keep having these individual mistakes and poor challenges and own goals, they will come back to bite us, and we won't be spared our blushes by getting a penalty a minute late and winning the game, or having VAR rule it out because he was offside. We're not going to get that luck and fortune every time, so we need to be more disciplined in that side of the game.
No, agreed, man, because, we're getting away a little bit, but it's not always going to be like this, and we need to be very, very much on top of our game. Nice comment here from Khan. Most important improvement in the last few days. Tuchel has a plan, 100%. Let's talk a little bit about that. We've talked a lot about the match and how we're 1 point away from top 4. Let's now talk about Thomas Tuchel, Nishal, because for me, this guy, every game he's getting better and better. We are playing better. We came across a very tough opposition today, how structured they were. There is no, surprise at all that these guys have been in a bit of a form in recent times. I've been saying, they had 3 wins out of the 5 before this particular match. So, we came across a very, very solid team. But we grinded out a win. And that's what good teams do. They grind out victories when it looks very difficult. Sheffield United beat Man United just a couple of matches ago. Don't forget that. And we just got a victory against these guys. So we need to see how we've just picked up points in that particular manner. And every game we're getting better. We've got Barnsley up next in FA Cup. I'm hoping it's going to be a straightforward win. No disrespect for Barnsley. But after that, it's Newcastle. Our rivals got some bigger games as well. We've got some easy games up until Atletico Madrid happens. So it's really a good opportunity. Maybe before we even play Atletico Madrid, we could possibly find ourselves into the top 4 situation. Nishal, what a turnaround this has been in such a short time. Could you have even imagined this a couple of weeks ago under Frank Lampard?
Under Frank Lampard, I'm not sure. We were going downhill. We didn't look good. We lost our confidence, our drive, our motivation. And I think I'm really happy with what we've seen in a new manager bounce. It's a typical thing, but when you have a new manager come in, a new philosophy, you have that extra motivation, you want to prove yourself to a manager. And, massive, massive credit to Thomas Tuchel. He has been outstanding so far. And I was doing a bit of quick math earlier in the episode, and I worked out, so now Tuchel's played 4 games, right? And he's got 10 points from possible 12. Lampard, in his first 4 league games as manager, 5. And that really puts into contrast. Yes, I'll put this out there, there's a lot of different circumstances. Lampard had a transfer ban, but he also had the whole summer to prepare. Tuchel came in mid-season, but he has arguably the perfect squad. So there are factors in favour of both managers, but he's doubled Lampard's opening 4 games points tally, which is a real testament to his hard work, his shape, his philosophy, and also what he wants to achieve at the club. You can't forget how difficult it is to come mid-season at any club. You know, we saw Maurizio Sarri earlier this week reject the Marseille job because he didn't want to come in mid-season. And Tuchel said, I didn't want to let this opportunity go. And he has taken it by the scruff of its neck. Really impressed me. I think Tottenham was the biggest test, and he passed that. Sheffield United, another tough one, he passed that. And I'm looking forward to Barnsley. You know, of course, I love the FA Cup. I really hope we can get into the quarterfinals. It won't be easy. Barnsley are a tough nut to crack. They're, you know, doing kind of mediocre in the Championship, League One lower down. But, you know, I think I do fancy ourselves, and I said with Newcastle, and then 2 huge games against Atletico Madrid and Manchester United, even before we play Southampton away, before we go to Madrid, or might be even in Budapest, as we saw today with Leipzig, Liverpool. But I've been very impressed with Thomas Tuchel. I'm really happy with what he's doing, and the future looks very, very bright for Chelsea.
100%, man. I mean, I've just looked at the fixture. We've got Barnsley. I think we played Barnsley in the League Cup, right? Where we beat them, where Kai Havertz for the hat-trick. So hoping we get that similar sort of result. We've got Newcastle after and Southampton away until we play Atletico Madrid. And, you know, we could possibly just pick up, hopefully, another 6 points with Newcastle and Southampton. We could see ourselves into top 4. But obviously, one game at a time, 100%. But just quickly here, I wanted to read this out. Salman Zaki, Ms. Leicester done another heist with Chilwell as average player. Look, I'm still patient with Chilwell, but it hasn't been good in recent times. That's all I want to say. Khan has said, we're being harsh on Chilwell. New manager, new position, things will improve. Look, Khan, I'm 100% backing this player to improve, but it's not just new manager. I don't think he was playing that great under Frank Lampard in that December, January period as well. I know the whole team wasn't playing that well. I think Chilwell during that period wasn't that great either. So not just now, but previously as well, but hoping that he turns things around. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps us up for this match review. We've covered everything possible for that particular match. Please comment anything that you want to say about this particular review, any sort of talking points in the comment section later below once this is live, I suppose, you know, uploaded and whatnot in YouTube if you're not commenting right now. But yeah, thank you to each and every one of you guys to tuning in. Please smash that like button, helps the channel out a lot. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I will have the Chelsea news segment again later tomorrow, UK time. So I'm going to be covering Chelsea news. There'll be shorter videos, so look out for that. And I will have more sort of guests coming on for live stream. But Nishal, thank you so much for joining, my man. Any final words before you go?
Yeah, brilliant performance. Really enjoyed that win, and another great win for Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. If you enjoyed what you heard from me, you can follow me on Twitter @NishalSP. I'm very close to 4,000 followers, and I'd love for you to join me if you liked what you heard today. You can also check out all of my work, whether it's writing, podcasts, videos, on Nishal's blog. That's nishalsblog.com. And remember, if you are not subscribed, subscribe to The Other Side of a Coin. Brilliant host, brilliant channel. We just hit, I think it was 3,000 subscribers, if I'm correct. So huge congratulations to Miz. I'm very proud to be a part of a channel and also help support Miz. So if you're not subscribed already, what are you doing? Go subscribe down below, follow him on Twitter, and keep supporting the channel. But thank you very much for joining today, and I hope you enjoyed.
Brilliant. And guys, everything that Nishal just said about his socials, it is in the description right now. So you've got it available right there. Follow him on Twitter, follow his blog as well. So guys, fantastic victory. We're 1 point away from top 4, and we move. We'll see you guys again for the FA Cup review with the boys. Until next time, see ya.